Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Laurie with Unity of Ocala coming to you for our midweek love notes. I trust you're wonderfully well. And as the days begin to cool and we shift into full fall mode, let us go into it with gratitude. I have a lot of students all over, a lot of friends, and do frequently spiritual counseling. And one of the things I get asked a lot, especially with Unity folks that have been coming to Unity for a little while, not a real long while, but that honeymoon period has seemed to fade a little bit. It happens to some people, not all. You know how that enthusiasm of finding a group of folks and teachings that sing to your heart, it just lifts you to a new level. And in that euphoric, wonderful knowing that you have found home, you are blissed and you see things begin to bloom. And it's not because you joined Unity, it's because you took those teachings in and began, even subconsciously, perhaps at first, began to work those spiritual principles and laws in a way that those laws benefited you without even realizing you were doing it. Something happens when we begin to be surrounded by people with an outlook of peace and joy and abundance and goodness, and their lives show the fruit of those efforts. But occasionally I get someone that's been coming for a little while and they've had a good journey and they're reading great books and they're coming to these meetings and they're deepening their prayer work and their devotion time. But I'll get something like, how do I know that these spiritual practices are working? And I seem to be flat. I don't seem to be jump starting the peace factor, the love factor, the abundance factor. I seem to be stuck and things just keep getting more and more difficult. And I explain to them, your life is difficult at times, challenging, at times devastating, at times hard, at times confusing, at times sad, at times. That's the price we pay for this sensual experience we have on earth to, I believe, evolve the consciousness of the human mind and evolve the ability of our inner spirit to bloom into the fullness of God and the realization. And if we don't have these experiences where we see what isn't a representation of our highest and best and godliness, these are the opportunities to be God in that, regardless. And so I give them a few simple exercises because Charles Fillmore and Myrtle always insisted, do not believe these teachings. Try them, challenge them, dare them, and see what happens. So you'll often hear me when we start courses or we start a monthly work of spiritual practices, I will say, this is your 30-day challenge, which I do in November about blessings, 30 days of blessings. We start always with gratitude. I explained why on Sunday and why the Fillmores did that with every lesson they taught and wrote and studied. Gratitude comes first. It has the ability, because it is a spiritual law that opens the heart to be able to receive more, but it has the ability to set the groundwork for all that the kingdom of heaven has for us, and that banquet table holding our chair ready. So gratitude is a key. And with all new students, or even those who are seeming like they're kind of in between the honeymoon and settling into a pace, these principles work if you work them. And some folks get confused about what they are, how they work. Am I doing them right? This is confusing. Is it more work for me to do? I'm already exhausted. So I get that. And no, there's nothing you could ever do to keep the love of God from you. You are a beloved child on Most High with access to the full kingdom. Sometimes we close that door. Sometimes we don't even realize we've closed it. So I just offer them some basic tools, and then I want to hear back from them. So for those of you listening to Love Notes, because I've already given this assignment for Sunday, gone a little bit deeper even, but even for those of you who were there on Sunday, but just really want to kickstart November and get your consciousness expanded to that next page of your journey and what that's going to look like. This is a simple exercise. I like to do it in the evening and first thing in the morning. That's twice a day. But for at least once a day, every day for 7 days. Not even the 30, not the 40, 7 days. This is the only exercise that I want you to try. So I want you to be able to tell if that is working for you, if something is shifting. Before you add a whole bunch of these spiritual exercises to your practice, let's just start here. You remember me talking about Sarah von Brethnock and her book, Simple Abundance, and her gratitude journal, and how it shifted her perception of life. And in that shift of the perception, because all of that perception, all of our perception is always based and mostly based on the assumptions of the upbringing that we had, the assumptions of the cultures in which we were formed, the assumptions. That frames our entire reference point of what is good and not good, of what is hard and what is easy, is who is fortunate and who is not, of what is evil and what is not, and of who you are. Are you worthy of God or are you not? Those assumptions are formed. So we in Unity go beyond the assumptions of those cultures in whatever time that was. We open up to a bigger God, to a grander God, with a grander vision of you. So for 7 days, simple exercise, the end of the day or the beginning of the day, or both, simply get your journal out and write down 10 blessings. 10 blessings. That's all. Now, I get calls, messages from folks 3 or 4 days into it. I've run out of blessings. I cannot think of any more. I get this. And that's where the breakthrough comes in. Because it's easy to thank God for, I have this beautiful, safe home. I have a car. And I have a job. I have an amazing family. I'm so blessed for my granddaughter. I'm so blessed for this. Those first 10, 20, 30 come pretty easy. And because we're a Western society, we want instant. Okay, I've done 3 days of blessings. Where's more blessings? But that's not the point. The point isn't to get more blessings. If it were, it would all stop at the secret. But that movement, the secret, was simply the opening to the unity understanding of God. It's just the crack and the peek into. We're going to have a powerful lesson on Sunday about that song, Hallelujah, by Leonard Cohen, and what that's talking about. It's so huge. It opened up a level in my life years ago when I started to tear apart all those verses, 80 some of them that he wrote, based on verses in the Old Testament, and his struggle with God and his struggle with blessings and good and evil and all of that. We're going to really dive in the month of November about this level of human understanding and how to go above those assumptions. Something happens when we go beyond those basic blessings we take for granted. When we actually have to go into our consciousness and think of things to be grateful for, we are not expanding that consciousness. When we have to dive, the diving begins to open us. The curiosity of what more is in here that I wasn't seeing Some mornings after a difficult night, we haven't had air conditioning for several days. It could be why my hair's being so crazy. And I've really taken air conditioning for granted. I will no longer do that. I have a labyrinth of fans set up in my house because, wow. And just that breeze from the fan and the open windows, I'm so grateful for. How could I not have thanked God every single day that someone was so brilliant they invented this system? So you see where I'm going with this? Yes, use those first 2 or 3 days to just be thankful for all of those things you bless all the time, all of those things you take for granted. But even if it's simply that first breath drawn at 4 a.m., that ability to stumble to a bathroom in the dark, that pillow that you rest your head on. Because what going that simple with your blessings, what it does, it opens your eyes up to those among us, our brothers and sisters who don't even have that. And when that focus of you gets taken away, the heavens open because you have expanded yourself. So that's what this simple exercise is about. We're going to talk about all these wonderful spiritual laws. I talk about them every day, and I will till I take my last breath on this planet, in this side of the veil. 7 days, 10 blessings, 10 different blessings. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the end of 7 days, you will have at least 70 blessings in your gratitude journal. 70 blessings, 17 gifts of God. 70, I'm sorry, I keep saying 17. Oh, I need to write that number down. There's a reason I'm saying it. 70. You will have 70 blessings in your journal. 70 gifts of God. 70. And I want to hear exactly what's happening in your life as you're journeying this. And your spirit wants to hear your words. Words have power. So at the end of perhaps each day, if you want to go that far, but certainly by the end of the 7 days, write down your feelings. Write down any things you noticed that you haven't noticed. Anything that is just on your heart and mind, because this is where you can see your growth. These students that call me after a few years in Unity, they don't recognize the changes that they are, the changes that have come, the growth that they've had, because they're still having challenges. Somehow we think that we should just live one permanent miracle and then nothing else bad will happen when we reach that certain level of spirituality. No. But we will notice that something has shifted from those assumptions. Something big and subtle and lovely and assuring and comforting and secure. Something that you can't describe. In Cohen's first verse he wrote, or 10th or 50th, perhaps even 80th. But that last verse, the most sung version of his extraordinary writing, that holds me every time I hear it and takes me to my knees, because it is about gratitude in the direst. And that is grace. So 7 days, 10 blessings, 70 in all. Please let me know how it's coming along. And some of the blessings, I want to post them. I want people to say, oh, have you thought about this blessing? Have you thought about this blessing? Oh, what a fun blessing that person has. Okay, 7 days of gratitude. I want to share this. Oh, this poem is from James Dillard Freeman, the beloved poet laureate for Unity for many, 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 many decades. His poetry two of his poems went to the moon twice with 2 different astronauts. They loved it so much. It's called The Journey of Today. Dawn is the threshold of today. Dawn is an open door that sends you up a sunlit way you have never climbed before. But you can know God does not give you hills too hard to climb. His love ordains that you shall live but one day at a time. Let go dead yesterday's regret, tomorrow's phantom fear. Live in the living now and let the present good appear. Even a stay at home must make the journey of today. Go with a willing heart and take love's lamp to light your way. Prayer be the staff you lean upon. With faith your feet be shod. Today you do not walk alone. Today you walk with God. I love you. I bless you. I can't wait to hear about your gratitude journals. We'll see you Sunday. Be really good to someone today that needs a lift. Bye-bye.